Your turbo is one of the most exciting parts of your car. It gives you power, speed, that satisfying whoosh, and it makes driving way more fun. But here's the scary part. Your turbo might already be dying, and you don't even know it yet. Because if you're doing this one thing, and a lot of people are, your turbo doesn't stand a chance. Stick around because in this video, we're breaking down exactly what kills turbos, the biggest mistakes people make, and how you can make your turbo last way longer without spending a ton of money. Whether you drive a daily turbo hatchback, a boosted project car, or even a diesel truck, this applies to you because if your turbo goes out, you're not just looking at a small repair, you could be staring down thousands of dollars in damage or even a blown engine. So let's get into it. What kills turbos faster than anything else? Let's be clear, turbos don't just fail out of nowhere. It's usually a slow death caused by heat, poor lubrication, or user error, but the number one killer of turbos is this: not letting the turbo cool down after driving hard. Let me explain. When you drive your car hard, especially if you're boosting on the highway doing pulls or just having fun, your turbo is spinning at insane speeds. We're talking 100,000 to 200,000 RPM, depending on the setup. That's faster than a jet engine turbine, and it's glowing hot. Literally. Now here's the problem. If you shut the engine off immediately after a hard run, the oil inside the turbo stops flowing. That oil just sits there cooking. And because the turbo is still piping hot, the oil breaks down. It bakes into sludge. Over time, that sludge clogs the tiny oil passages that cool and lubricate your turbo bearings, and that's when the real damage starts. No oil flow equals no cooling equals overheating bearings, overheated bearings equals turbo failure. This is known as oil coking. It's one of the most common reasons turbos die, and it's completely avoidable. How to prevent tuber overheating the right way. So what should you be doing instead? Simple. Let the car idle for a minute or two after driving hard. This lets the oil keep circulating through the turbo, pulling the heat away from the center housing and cooling things down naturally. After a couple of minutes of light idling, the turbo temperature drops enough that shutting it off won't cook the oil. If you've been just commuting gently and staying off boost, you don't need to worry as much, but if you've been doing pulls, driving at high RPMs, or coming off the highway, let it idle. That cooldown period could be the difference between a turbo that lasts 10,000 miles and one that goes 150,000 plus. Some cars come with turbo timers, which keep the engine running for a set amount of time after you turn off the ignition. But honestly, you don't need fancy tech. Just use your key, be patient, and wait. Now, while not cooling down your turbo is the biggest killer, it's not the only one. Let's talk about a few other common habits that seriously damage turbos. Mistake 1, ignoring oil changes. Turbocharged engines run hotter and harder than naturally aspirated ones. That means your oil works overtime. Old, dirty oil breaks down faster, can't lubricate properly, and is more likely to clog turbo oil lines. You need to be on top of your oil changes. Don't just follow the manufacturer's generic schedule. If you're driving hard or running more boost, change that oil more often. Use high-quality synthetic oil and don't cheap out on the filter. Mistake 2, cold revving the engine. You start your car, it's cold outside, and you want to warm it up quickly, so you rev it a few times. Sounds harmless, right? Big mistake. Revving a cold turbo engine can send unburnt fuel into the turbo and stress the bearings before the oil is fully circulating. That can cause premature wear and tear. Let the car warm up naturally, drive gently for the first few minutes. Don't go full boost until the oil temperature is up to normal. Mistake 3, poor quality or wrong spec oil. This one flies under the radar a lot. Not all oils are the same. Turbo engines need oils that can handle extreme heat and shear forces. Using cheap oil or even just the wrong viscosity can mess up your turbo. Check your owner's manual or tuner's recommendation and use a quality full synthetic oil. Mistake 4, crankcase ventilation issues. This is a big one, especially for modified or older cars. Blow-by gases can carry oil vapor back into the intake, which gums up your turbo, intercooler, and valves. Installing a good oil catch can and checking your PCV system regularly can save your turbo from slow death. Mistake 5, running lean or too much boost. This mostly applies to tuned or modified cars. If your air-fuel ratio is off or your boost is cranked up too high without proper fueling and cooling, you'll cook your turbo and your engine. Make sure any tuning is done by someone who knows what they're doing, and always log your air-fuel ratios and exhaust gas temps if you're pushing big power. Now, let's talk about why turbo problems are such a big deal. Many people assume that fixing a turbo is a small job. Just unbolt the old one and slap on a new one, but in reality, turbo repairs are often very expensive. A factory replacement turbo alone can cost anywhere from $800 0 cents to $3,000 0 cents, and that's just the part. Labor can add another $500 0 cents to $1,500 0 cents, depending on how buried the turbo is in your engine bay. But that's not even the worst part. When a turbo fails, it doesn't always go quietly. It can send metal fragments into the intake system, the intercooler, or even directly into the engine. It can also starve the engine of oil pressure if the failure contaminates the oil system. In worse cases, a failed turbo leads to complete engine failure, turning what could have been a $1,000 0 cents fix into a $7,000 0 cents rebuild. This is why prevention is so important. Spending a few dollars on good oil, giving your turbo time to cool down, and maintaining your car properly will save you thousands in the long run. How do you know if your turbo is on its last legs? There are a few warning signs that you should never ignore. One of the first signs is blue or gray smoke coming from your exhaust, especially under boost. This usually means oil is leaking past the turbo seals and burning in the exhaust stream. It could be a minor leak now, but it's a strong sign of internal turbo wear. Another red flag is hearing high-pitched whining or siren-like noises coming from the engine bay. While some turbo noise is normal, sudden changes in pitch or volume, especially if it sounds like a police siren, can mean the bearings are worn or the compressor wheel is damaged. That's a sign that failure is not far away. A noticeable loss of power is another clue. If your car suddenly feels slower, especially when accelerating or climbing hills, the turbo might not be building proper boost. This could be due to boost leaks, stuck wastegates, or internal turbo issues. Bioterronism. A check engine light can also point to turbo problems, particularly if the code relates to boost pressure, mass airflow, or fuel trim. Modern turbo engines rely on precise airflow measurements, and a dying turbo will throw those readings off, triggering fault codes. Lastly, if you see oil leaking around the turbocharger or on the oil feed and return lines, it's a good idea to investigate. Small leaks can turn into big problems quickly. How driving style impacts turbo health every day. One of the most underrated aspects of turbo longevity is your driving style. It's not just how hard you drive, it's how often, how consistently, and whether your habits allow the turbo to operate efficiently or put it under unnecessary stress. Aggressive driving in short bursts isn't necessarily harmful. Turbochargers are designed to be used, but constantly hammering the throttle, especially in lower gears or with poor gear selection, can wear the turbo down faster. High RPM, high boost pulls in every gear, create extreme pressure and heat. If the car doesn't have time to recover or cool down between pulls, that heat builds up and shortens the life of the turbo's internal components. Frequent stop-and-go traffic can also be harsh on turbo systems, particularly in cars with smaller displacement engines that rely heavily on the turbo to produce usable torque. In these conditions, the turbo is constantly spooling and unspooling, which creates thermal cycling, repeated heating and cooling that can stress metal components and cause fatigue over time. Combine that with short trips where the engine never fully warms up, and you've got a recipe for sludge buildup, oil contamination, and early wear. Even the way you shift can play a role. Hard clutch dumps or sudden throttle cuts after high boost moments can cause compressor surge, where pressure backs up into the turbo because the throttle plate shuts too quickly. This violent reversal of pressure can cause damage to the compressor blades and increase bearing wear. A proper blow-off valve or diverter valve helps relieve that pressure safely, but your shifting technique matters too. On the flip side, driving gently all the time without ever using boost isn't ideal either. Turbos need to be exercised to stay healthy. Regular, moderate use helps prevent carbon buildup in the turbine and keeps oil seals lubricated properly. It also allows the ECU to adapt its fuel and boost trims, which can improve long-term reliability and performance. The key is balance. Enjoy the power your turbo gives you, that's what it's there for, but don't abuse it constantly. Drive spiritedly when conditions allow, cool down properly, and avoid extremes on either end of the spectrum. Your turbo will thank you. Now let's take a look at how to make your turbo last over 200,000 miles. The good news? Turbos don't have to be fragile. With the right care, they can last well beyond 200,000 miles. It all comes down to consistent maintenance and smart driving habits. Start by always using high-quality, full synthetic oil that meets or exceeds your engine's specifications. Change it regularly, not just when the manual says. Go a little earlier if you drive hard or live in hot conditions. That alone can extend your turbo's lifespan dramatically. Make it a habit to drive gently until your engine is fully warmed up. Avoid hard acceleration or full boost for the first few minutes after starting the car. This gives the oil time to warm up and flow properly, reducing wear on the turbo's delicate internal components. Always let the car idle for a short time after driving aggressively. That cooldown period is your turbo's best friend. Whether you've been on a spirited back road run or just came off the highway, letting the oil circulate for another 6,120 seconds will help prevent coking and extend bearing life. If your car doesn't already have one, consider installing a high-quality oil catch can to help reduce oil vapor contamination. And if you've tuned your car or increased the boost, make sure your fueling, intercooling, and engine management are all keeping up with the extra power. Treat your turbo right, and it will reward you with years of reliable, exhilarating performance. If you learned something today, hit that like button. It helps more people see this video and protects more turbos from dying an early death. Share it with your car friends, especially the ones who rev their engine cold or shut it off right after a highway pull. If you want more car care tips, performance advice, or deep dives into how to make your car last longer and go faster, hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more coming. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had turbo issues or if you've got questions about keeping your build running strong. I reply to as many as I can, and remember, don't be the guy who kills his turbo for no reason. Drive smart, boost safe. Catch you in the next one.